Hey, everybody, what's up? Welcome back. We're live. Hope you guys are having a nice Sunday. I am awake. Maybe. If you have to say, I am awake, are you really awake? Or are you just trying to convince yourself? Before going to sleep last night, I was doing my taxes. Before starting the stream today, I was doing my taxes. And I'm not done. I gotta do more taxes. But I'm here for a while. And then tomorrow morning, I'll have to do my taxes. You just gotta chip away at it. My taxes are a little bit more complicated than most. The long story short is, for various reasons that I will not explain, I have to turn in a physical copy of my taxes. So I have to mess with old printer ink. So that's part of the problem. So I uncovered the printer from the closet last night and tried to get this stupid software to work, which is just terrible. The age and the era of apps has kind of ruined us, chat. I'm just gonna say that back in my day, when I had an install wizard and a CD in my CD tray, all of my programs just worked better. They were designed better. My printer wouldn't even connect to the computer, even though it was connected via USB. Despite using the app to say, how are you going to connect your printer? I'm going to connect it via USB. I clicked the USB button. Oh, sorry, there's no connection. Huh, well that's strange, isn't it? Can't get any information on this thing. Turns out there's one button on the printer that you also have to turn off so that it stops searching for a Wi-Fi signal. Why are you looking for a Wi-Fi signal? You trying to escape, printer? You think you got somewhere else to be? You tired of being locked in the closet for years at a time? No, you do what I want. Plug you in with the USB, you print one document, and then I put you back. Smart devices. Yeah, that would be it. Smart devices. I've got a lot of smart devices in here now. My lights are smart. They're so smart they talk to my phone. There's been a couple times where my phone battery has died and I've been unable to turn out the lights in my office. There's probably a button on the back of them that you could push. Or you could just unplug them, but they do have little batteries in them that would last for a couple hours. But anyway, I'm also planning on streaming tomorrow, but that'll depend on how long it takes me to physically turn in my taxes. So whenever after that happens, then I'll be live again tomorrow too. It's probably not going to be super early. The 13-hour streams are starting to catch up to me. They're starting to build. I'm getting like, I don't know, 7 hours of sleep? Something like that. The rim waits for no man. Alex, I gotta say, I absolutely love your stream notifications. They make me laugh. They are the best of any streamer I watch. Thank you. If you want to know why I'm late to every single stream, it's because I'm trying to write a new notification. I have to make a different notification for Twitch and for Discord in case you also happen to be in the Discord. But I'm glad somebody noticed and appreciates my hard work. How long did it take you to come up with the 6 emoji? That was actually like less than a minute. I was just letting the muse flow through me. I think the yo-yo was particularly inspired. Which is supposed...
Alert!
Yes?
Oh, boo-hoo. Look at you working hard. How cute. Here, have a drop pod containing a cursed amulet that brings you eternal bad luck.
Okay.
Enjoy, loser.
I don't need an amulet that brings me eternal bad luck. I've already got that. I'll just give that to somebody else. That scared me. I thought you turned on Randy. That is Randy. Randy's among us. Okay, chap. How you doing? Hope you're having a nice April 14th. It's a little after 1 p.m. here in fabulous Las Vegas. And we've got a story to tell.
Hey, alert.
Okay.
Oh, look at Dr. Skelly. Trying to be all sentimental. How touching. Here, have a drop pod with a mysterious orb that bestows chaotic blessings and curses upon all who touch it. Enjoy, loser.
I didn't tell him to do any anomalous or anomaly related things. He's just choosing of his own free will to give you like cursed artifacts. So I don't know where I don't know where that's all coming from. But it's relevant. Oh.
Oh, let's see. Alert. Tanks of Frank resubscribed? Big deal. Here, have a drop pod with a pair of enchanted boots that make you dance uncontrollably whenever someone says your name. Dance away, loser.
Oh, big deal. Resubscribed? Big deal. Yeah, everything's like an artifact or an object that has some kind of power attached to it. He's got one more.
Izzo, Stiad.
Okay.
Alert. We're of the world's logo. So we won trying to spread some joy. Pathetic. Here, have a drop pod with a cursed mirror that reflects your innermost fears every time you gaze into it. Enjoy, loser. loser.
Hello, chat. I appreciate the beginning of stream subs. Thanks, War of the Worlds, for the gift sub to Noah Strife. Dr. Skelly, we live. Tanks of Frank, welcome back for 16 months. Thanks for sharing.
Alert! Cowfishy, huh? Trying to butter me up with glitter talk. How quaint. Here, have a drop pod with a glitter bomb that explodes in your face every time you try to be cute. Enjoy, loser.
Why are you trying to make him go back to glitter? He loves glitter bombs. Well, the chat member prompted them to talk about glitter. Okay, that's cheating. You can't just give him the ammo. He doesn't need any help.
Alert!
Is crooked?
Xenophanes 420 trying to be mysterious with their cryptic message. How original. Here, have a drop pod with a cursed scroll that whispers unsettling truths about existence when read. Enjoy, loser.
Okay, we're gonna need to change. Are you just gonna be stuck on this the whole time? I feel like he gets stuck in a rut really fast. Taxes stream probably should be. Now it's more crooked. Yeah, I know. It wasn't crooked before. You guys are just not able to understand how, like, camera lenses work. This is why if you stand on the edge of, like, an iPhone photo, you look larger than you are. Lines are not perfectly straight when lenses are wide enough. Randy? He's thinking. I think. Maybe. But yeah, we're gonna have to... I need to, like, tweak Randy's personality. Chat, what would you say, other than being random and possibly chaotic evil, would describe Randy? We've had some good calls from the chat before. I wonder if let's try making a new Randy. You are Randy Random from RimWorld. You're Randy Random from RimWorld. A chaotic and random storyteller that decides the fate of everyone? I don't know. What would be the right word? The fate of all. I think all works. Okay, you're Randy Random from RimWorld, a chaotic and random storyteller that decides the fate of all. You are... I would say... Here's the thing. Like, AI doesn't understand what to do with the word, like, you're so random. Okay, it's just gonna give you whoopee cushions and glitter again. Basically, every time. I think, like, it doesn't... AI, you can't just be like, AI, be funny. AI, be random. Like, they need more specific. You basically have to chisel a character out that represents what you want it to be, even if it's not exactly, like, even if the instructions aren't correct, per se. Because they don't know what to do with, like, okay, for example, if we wrote try to surprise people, I can guarantee you that he would say, Surprise! There's a clown outside your door. Like, kind of, it would be very peekaboo-esque surprises. I would say also indifferent might be a good word. Okay, let's do this. He has to know about the cult of randomarchy. Just make him say Algarotta too. In VOD 3, hello Direwolf. Someone talked about VOD watchers earlier. I don't remember what you said, but good luck keeping up. I think it was VOD watchers are eating good or something like that. You got a lot of content to go through. Randy, yeah, okay. If I wrote Randy doesn't follow the rules, yeah, he'll be like, you told me to only say 40 words. I said 62, and it's only like 12 words. He will do that, yeah. Prompt crafting for personalities is actually kind of like, I don't think it's hard. It's just counterintuitive, is what I would say. It's counterintuitive. You have to figure out how to like work within the systems. And they often just ignore what you write anyways. I don't know. I've definitely gotten attached to him doing alert. And I don't mind the drop pods too, but not every single response. They take it too literally, but also sometimes just don't listen, yeah. Okay, let's try this. You delight in failure as much as success so long as the circumstances are dire. Maybe. The drop pod is a charming gimmick? Yeah. I think it's just too non-specific. You almost just have to pigeonhole them into a certain personality type. Like in this case, if I give him like a personality of arbitrary indifference, let's try this. All right, we'll start here. Ready for another day of RimWorld stream? See what Randy says. See, like, okay. For
Sure, have fun dealing with Randy Random's whims. Good luck surviving.
That was a very basic response. And his prompt was, you are Randy Random from RimWorld, a chaotic and random storyteller that decides the fate of all. You're arbitrary and indifferent. You are one of 3 deities of the cult of randomarchy. And there's a few more bits to it as well, but it's just like, that seems very simple and very basic. And the problem with trying to make a neutral personality is you're gonna get a boring personality. It's gonna be the absence of personality. You are obsessed with odds and random chance, much like a professional gambler. Maybe. Make him maniacal. I think maniacal is more fun, yeah. He also didn't start a response with alert. Okay, almost done. I'm just gonna we can just go back to the other personality. Or we can just turn it off. That would work too. It's difficult when the bot just wants to satisfy the prompt and is looking to expand on it, like I just checked the boxes. Sometimes it doesn't even check the boxes, I would say. Okay, let's try this. You... No, I'm not paying my taxes right now. I'm paying my taxes tomorrow. What if I was just doing my taxes right now? You wouldn't know. Don't worry, we're gonna get started here. I just wanted to like mess with Randy real quick. Since he's kind of, feels like he's getting progressively more in a rut. Did yours yesterday? Nice, Dirk. I was working on it yesterday. Okay, you sometimes send events. What else does Randy do in the game? What doesn't he do? All right, let's try this. Oh yeah, mental breaks.
Rolling the dice. Alert! Your colony experiences a minor electrical fire due to faulty wiring. Fortunately, your colonists are able to quickly extinguish it before it spreads.
Okay, that's just RPing as an actual event prompt. That's just like a dungeon master just told me what happened. Okay, let's try greet everyone in chat for the start of the stream. He's just like telling the story of what happens, yeah.
Alert! Greetings, mortals. May the odds be ever in your favor as we embark on this unpredictable journey together. Let the chaos and randomness commence.
See, he just kind of sounds kind of too, like, just so neutral that there's no personality. Hunger Games fan. Yeah, just very generic. All right, let's try that one, and let's just go. I wanted to give people some time to get in here anyway, since we ended on a bit of a cliffhanger last night, so that was a good stall to hop in here. Boop. Could write something about how he delights in the mischief he causes. Okay. Yeah, we'll try that. I have a 4-hour drive ahead of me, so I'll be listening when I have service. As long as you're not watching. Avik wanted to raid you earlier. He was so disappointed. Well, he's got to stream longer. What did he stream? 8 hours? Those are rookie numbers for him. He was done streaming when I woke up. Also, I didn't realize the game was unpaused. I don't think I would have done anything different because I only have one pawn and I was running them back to base, so it's fine. Well, I guess I had 2 pawns, but now I only have 1. His colony wiped, man. Well, listen, next time, don't wipe your colonies so then you can raid me, okay? Don't worry. You're not going to be the only one with a colony wipe today, Avik. I think it's going to be grim. I think we're in for some grim happenings. I'll give you guys kind of the backstory, because I literally shouldn't have been on pause at all just now, but I couldn't have changed Purple Page going on an insane rambling snap. Because everything's about to burst. It's about to pop. Anyway, welcome back to RimWorld, everyone. Glad to have you. I'm not going to recap the whole day yesterday because that was 13 hours. But long story short, we have a bit of a change of cast. There were some unfortunate deaths due to an attempt to hunt lynx that went very wrong. We were able to hold on against hope, against a recurring invasion of sight stealers. We also encountered a revenant for the first time, which was an entire saga that I could not do justice by putting into words. The revenant was an entire season of show. It took us hours, but after it was able to hypnotize 2 of my colonists, I, against all odds, managed to defeat it with my last pawn with grenades. It was an endurance race, and the only way that we were able to win was by intentionally having the one surviving pawn who was incapable of all medical. Therefore, they cannot bring people food. They cannot tend to themselves or others. The only pawn who is standing is incapable of caring. They're a vengeful child. They were banished, and they have developed some antisocial behaviors. So they do not care about anyone else in the colony and will not lift a finger to help them. So to circumvent that, we had to have Purple Page kill Dragobot, who was able to resurrect using one of their death refusal uses, which they have been storing like a Chekhov's gun, in order to have them resurrect themselves, getting out of the hypnosis of the Revenant in the process, so that they could wake up fully healed and help feed the starving people in their beds and the prisoners and all of that, and actually manage the health and healing of others. So that was wild. We used the Gladius and ended up accidentally cutting off both of his legs, which regrew. And one thing that I'm curious about is Death Refusal claims that it is an imperfect process and can cause scarring or other health complications. So I'm curious if there's any secret complications that we don't know about, or if we just got lucky, because I only see a scratch lynx scar. So anyway, we went through all of that. I'm gonna RP it that Dragobot came to us as a void-fascinated individual who keeps trying to free the monsters as part of their snaps, and they're obsessed with everything void related. So my RP is that Purple Page was actually just killing Dragobot in an act of malice to appease the old gods. like you know like in the movies where they're like, if we could just destroy the book, maybe they'll go away. Maybe if we just kill the void obsessed cultists, we can appease them and they'll leave us alone. But then he came back and helped us kill the Revenant. We went double grenades. The Revenant is a tanky bastard, and it took days and days. We were experiencing the 30 days of night, locked ourselves in the movie, just hold out against the Revenant siege. We were waiting on other raiders to come in so the Revenant would find another target. There's a relevant clip. If you look at my featured clips from the last day, we have a relevant clip there that kind of sums up what was going on. Actually, we'll just watch it because I think it kind of paints a better picture than I can as to what actually transpired there. So let's do this. Is it muted? Hold on. It's muted. Can't be muted. So we got raided. There was a raid of wasters that appeared on map, and that's who this is. And I'm eating food, eating dinner, and we were just waiting because we were holed up inside of our base, locked in, walled in, nobody out. And so we were just watching the fireworks because we needed the dust to settle a little bit. So here's what happened. Where are the rest of them? There's another one! Why are you guys attacking one at a time? Oh my god, they already downed it. 2 more! Are you guys gods or something? 11 melee? Uh-oh, Jensen's down. Another one! They're swarming! A revenant has revealed itself! Oh shit! The revenant is picked a new target! And there's even more sight stealers! Oh! A manhunter pack of manhunting lynx have come to finish the job! They're not content with eliminating the colony earlier. Yeah, that's pretty much how it was going for us. I think that's the best summary of the events last night. It was just back to back to back to back things over and over. But guess what? It's about to get worse. Here are the last things that happened. Unbelievably, we were attacked by flesh beasts. The ground gave way. Writhing flesh emerged from the ground, and we had to fight out in the open here because Dragobot was over here walking back to the base, so we had to give him some cover. It was either let Dragobot die outside or we go all in. Those were the two choices. So I went all in. And we actually did win very narrowly as Dragobot was able to snipe the last couple of flesh beasts. However, in the process, every other pawn was downed and bleeding out. So Dragobot had to haul them all inside and try and patch them up. It took over a full day in game to try and patch them up. Dragobot was still bleeding while fixing them up. Unfortunately, during the time in which we were patching them up and feeding them to keep them alive, Purple Page became double infected. They have since developed an immunity, but they got a torso and a leg infection while we were still patching them up. Gnome Saying wasn't so lucky. Gnome Saying, while we were in the process of healing them, got the plague, and the plague won. We used all of our normal good quality medicine to try and give them some immunity, but it wasn't enough. We got to 96.7% immunity. It was close. The very first tinned that we had was not good. It was like point something out of 100. And we also don't have a moral guide to try to boost their immunity. So they got the plague while they were being healed, bleeding out from the flesh spikes, which is insane timing. Just ridiculous. Like, they probably... I wouldn't be surprised if there was a clip of that, because I think I said something like, look, I've done this 1,000 times. Triage with 3 people bleeding out and only 1 patching them up. That's classic RimWorld. And it was like, womp womp. Gnome Saying has the plague. I've never done it where a pawn gets the plague while I'm healing them. That one is new. But there's more. As Gnome Saying died of the plague, they released a shriek into the sky that was felt across the region because we have no idea what their background is. They were a stranger, a drifter who came to us and asked to stay with us and work with us. And we said yes, despite the fact that they have the ability to psychically slaughter any creature that is of medium to small size with their mind. We never even got to see that ability. They never turned on us. And we did our best to save them, but when they perished, the curse of whatever they were cursed with was released back into the air, and something is responding to it. Gnome Saying has let out a twisted half-human scream. In the distance, you can hear other screams answering the call. They are coming. Something is responding. And worse, a cursed obelisk dropped onto our map and is at 95 out of 100% activity level. And it's about to pop. Both of these things are happening at the same time. I could have Dragobot try and calm it down, but I would leave him out to die as the whatever response to the scream comes out to kill him. So I am just making the call because everybody inside the base is currently unable to take care of themselves, like Fredato and Purple Page have snapped. Fredato also almost died and is in a psychotic wander. Purple Page is now doing insane ramblings. If I send Dragobot, they might snap because their mood is down. They're about to pass out from lack of sleep. I have no choice but to just sit inside and see what happens. I don't know. I don't know. All I know is that if I hurry, I might be able to force build a little wall here. That's all I got. I hear noises already. I hear something that's not supposed to be there already. Do you hear it? Okay, how much do we have? Twisted Obelisk is at 96%. All right, I apologize to Yak 3 and 4. We already have 2 Yaks. You guys just kind of randomly joined the colony, and we don't exactly need you. So chat, we live here now. I'm locking it in. We still have a pretty weak spot here. They could go through the door in the vent, and there's not much I can do about that. That's our Achilles heel. I am aware that I left my bolt action rifle is going to deteriorate outside. I'm aware. We barely made it in before whatever is probably some sight stealer action out here from the sound of it. We barely even made it inside before we heard that, so I wasn't about to chance it. Dragobot all alone by himself. They're locked in at least. Like they can't psychotic wander outside. And now night falls. A hard snow begins to drizzle from the sky. Faster and faster. The wind is picking up. Gusts echoing through the halls, beating against our base. The story of this colony is a crazy horror setup. It is, yeah. Okay. Purple Page has become completely untethered from reality, ranting about impossible subjects. He'll snap out in a few hours. That's because ravenously hungry. Speaking of food, we have 6 meals. We've actually, what do we have? We have so much silver, but nothing to spend it on. 12 components, that'll keep us for a little while. But almost no raw food. However, we have plant ready to harvest. It feels like Cabin in the Woods, like Randy is just spinning a wheel of eldritch horrors to send after you. Kind of, yeah. I mean, we've sort of meddled in things beyond our ability. We've taken in 2 mysterious strangers who are obsessed with trying to uncover more. We've partaken in some study of creatures that have no right to exist. We've read ancient tomes, and we have performed at least one ritual to bring in an otherworldly calling of animals onto our map. What's the game plan for the colonist corpse? Probably just build another grave down here. Uh-oh. It's time. Just take a moment, chat. Remember the good times. Remember Loser. Remember Sambani. Dr. Urist. Short and Saucy. Dingarin. And Gnome Saying. And also Carson. Remember what they gave. I already forgot them all. Yeah, who was Carson again? Oh, what do you got? Carson was food. Oh yeah, Carson was food. The obelisk is activating. It swells with grisly energy as the air crackles around it. It's about to self-destruct in a great explosion, but before it does, it will use its hideous transformative power on any creature it can detect. Chat, what if I told you? What if I told you that if we were not in an ice oasis, that would be one of the worst things that could possibly happen? If we were in your normal grassy biome filled with animals, this would be a waking nightmare. Explain why. Because it just transformed any animal that it could detect into a flesh beast. Because we're in an ice oasis, there's very little wildlife. Because there were only some bunnies on the map, it only turned a handful into... There's still 6 dudes, and they're breaking down the walls right now. So, don't hold your breath yet. Wait. No, that's not the right phrase. Don't count your chickens? And also, I don't know if you knew this, but there are a bunch of invisible creatures outside because Gnome Saying just died. So once they break through, we're gonna have some friends. Anyway, someone said, but not the donkeys. Bro, we ate the donkeys a long time ago, okay? There aren't any donkeys on this map. Secondly, it's not transforming your pets and animals. Unless it can detect them, I don't know. Maybe they have to be outside. These ones are inside. Who knows? I don't want to know. So let's just say this is what happened. It said anything that it could detect. It didn't detect the yaks, therefore they're yaks. So here's the thing. Fredato's awake, out of the psychotic. Oh, they just broke a power line. They broke 2 power lines, but we have redundancies. Oh, one got popped by a trap. Kind of huge. They are about to break down into the weak spot over here, though. Well, they've popped open the grave. I don't think that the vent here matters that much. They're also breaking one of... This is why you actually don't cheap out on corners. So in RimWorld, if you have 2 disconnected blocks that are at a diagonal, like these 2, if this block didn't exist, right, this would still be an enclosed space. But the reason why I like to build the extra wall anyways is because of this exact reason. It just gives you that extra layer of protection. Sometimes they'll go for the corner piece here, and even once they break it, they won't be able to get in. They'll be stuck outside with these 2. So it's not quite double walling, but it is like super useful when they do pick those awkward corner pieces that they can't do anything with to try and smash. But yeah, they're just picking different sides right now and trying to find a way in. They're not the smartest. The corner piece also prevents it from looking dumb. That is correct, yeah. But yeah, we're trying to just hopefully buy enough time until Purple Page comes back. I need to give Fredato a weapon. I don't know that I want to give... Dragobot has much better shooting skill. I'm gonna have to have someone on melee. However, let's go Steel Axe. And then I'm going to actually give Dragobot the good quality revolver that's about to fall apart. This revolver's at 5% of its 100% HP pool. It'll still work. It doesn't have any debuffs, but it's going to disintegrate in our hand is what it feels like. It's like a Fallout weapon. It's just cobbled together with duct tape. I have no idea how it actually is going to work. Okay, and then if Purple Page comes back, we give Purple Page... We want a fast-firing gun, because a Great Bow has 2 problems. It has a long wind-up time, and it's better from range. Not really good up close at all. So now we wait. Oh, look who's here. Where did you come from, big dog? A fleshy, man-sized creature with 2 spiked limbs and an armored carapace. Tough spikes throw hardened keratin spikes to take down victims from a distance. Tough spike corpses will dissolve into puddles of liquefied flesh if they're not butchered quickly. They've got armor. Sharp and blunt armor. %10 armor pen. I'm gonna catch the RimWorld VODs, but I'm assuming the new DLC is very fun if Ito's pumping 13-hour streams. Yeah, I think it's great. My first impressions, it's a lot of fun. My first impressions are, it definitely shouldn't be your first DLC. But I think, for me, I saw, like, basically I made the mistake of going to the RimWorld subreddit last night. Just to see what everyone else was like. I kind of was hoping some of the posts were, I would say 50% of the posts were like, here's the fun, crazy thing that happened to me, which I didn't read those because I don't want to know about the entire codex yet. So I kind of skipped those. Like 50% were like, here's the fun, crazy thing that happened to me. And the other 50% were like, here's my hot take. Does anyone else think... I feel like this DLC just adds hordes of monsters that you have to mow down. I was watching 500% gameplay, and there is just loads of monsters on screen that you just have to fight. Boring. It's like, dude, you dumb dude. What if I told you that the higher the difficulty, the more entities there are? And that does not represent the average experience of the average player. Did you choose the specific anomaly story start? I did not know. Basically, a good chunk of the DLC is activated once you interact with the Void Monolith. If you don't interact with the Void Monolith, a large portion of the DLC just doesn't fire. It's very similar to how the Ancient Exostrider midsection works, which we have not activated. I actually realistically don't think I ever activated it. I've never even done this. But then someone else was like, does anyone else feel like there's too high of a concentration of the new events? And it's like, bro, I have seen the old events a bajillion times. What I want right now is the new events. But also I feel like I've been getting we've been getting normal raids as well. We've gotten Waster raids multiple times. We've gotten your Manhunter packs multiple times. We've gotten a Mech Hiver raid. I definitely feel like it is proportionally more of the haunted stuff, but I also think that there just is more haunted stuff. If that makes sense. Like, Anomaly is a highly focused DLC. It all has to do with Anomaly. It has to do with entities, right? Because it's so singular focused, there's just a lot of stuff. There's all these dudes. And each of these dudes is like a different event, basically. Some of them are more simple than others, like Devourers. But because it is all focused on the Anomaly, it feels like there's more, like, proportionally events happening that are from the Anomaly DLC. And there are more events from the Anomaly DLC because the other DLCs are spread focused over multiple subjects, right? Like Sanguiphage is just kind of like one event in a larger DLC. When you're looking at like Mechanitor stuff, that's like one part of a larger DLC. When you're looking at DNA gene packs and stuff, that's one part of a larger DLC. They're spread out over much more content. Whereas Anomaly is the most laser-focused DLC and backs that focus up with a lot of content in that area. But anyway, my 2 cents are, I'm having a lot of fun. I'm enjoying it a lot. I also don't think that, like, there were people last night who were like, Revenant's too strong, Revenant's OP. nerf, and I think that that was overblown. I didn't really address it at the time, but I was hunting it with one person. I think that that's the issue. Once we figured out how to kind of track it and deal with it, it didn't fight us out and about, right? We just had to find it. And if I had a larger group of people with more weapons that weren't great bows that fired faster, we would have taken it down much faster. The fact that we could take down an advanced entity like that with one person if we knew what to do, I think means that it's perfectly fine. Yeah, it did also come around when we were in a bad spot. But I had a lot of fun with it. Also, my comparison for stuff that's broken OP, my point of comparison, the bar that I set for broken OP annoying and frustrating is mech clusters with high shields, low shields, 2 auto mortars that activate instantly. Anything below that is balanced. Chat, we're about to have some problems. I'm just hoping that purple page snaps out. I can't go outside because there is there's a bunch of site stealers potentially out there as well. This is where they're actually going to break in here. I'd like to have more than 2 colonists fighting this. If I poke my head out, I could definitely kill this finger spike. I'm just worried that we're gonna also incur the wrath of other creatures. But yeah, I'm just kind of ignoring chat right now because we got bigger problems and you guys ask a lot of like kind of basic questions that don't matter. Sorry. I could spend like 45 minutes trying to go through all of what you're saying. Wow, he called us basic. Rude. What did you ask, Dazerer? You didn't ask anything, okay? I wasn't even talking about you. You weren't even a chatter until right now. All right, we have to poke our head out. Well, where did the dude go? There was a finger spike right here. Now he's gone. Oh, he went down here for some reason. What do, dude? What do? I think we just go in here now. This tough spike is going to be the biggest issue that we face. But I don't think waiting is going to help us anymore. What was that? Oh, they're banging on the front door now. Excellent. All right, you need to focus on the small fry first. You missed, but you hit the tough spike. All right, if maybe the door closes and then we can just... Oh yeah, okay. Nice. Nice freaking job, dude. One finger spike dead. We should probably just patch this up, like, right now. And then we gotta handle... Oh, the guy bopped off the door because they found another way in. Rip rice. Oh my god, we're not gonna have any food. Oh no, we're gonna starve. Oh, it's gone. It is gone, bro. That was fast. It's -12 outside. Fredato is not a good meleeer right now, but we gotta just... Chat, if this is it, then it's been a pleasure. We can rebuild the heater. Oh, sick kill! Who did that? Fredato hit the tough spike with a hack from the axe's edge, tearing its torso and right shoulder. Kicked dirt in the finger spike's eyes. Fredato is a brawler. Dragobot is the one that killed the tough spike, shot through the torso. I'm learning to respect the good quality revolver with, I mean, the 5% is irrelevant, but the higher the quality of the gun, the better the accuracy. And then that combos with your shooting stat. So good quality revolver, I think I disrespected. Now I respect it a little more. We didn't even get hit. We got cracked tibia, but we're not bleeding. Yeah, the only thing that matters on the weapon is the quality of it. The HP of the weapon doesn't matter. Okay, we knew there were gonna be sight stealers, but what are you gonna do? Like, you just have to stand and fight. Oh god, Fredato's almost dead, dude. Good kills, good kills. Let's go back inside now. This one's bleeding out in 14 hours. Let's come back. Dragobot is gonna give some covering fire. Open the door. Okay, Fredato, go hop in bed. We're gonna hop in here. This light is disconnected from the grid, so we're gonna move its, we're gonna plug it into a different, power strip, for lack of a better term. Do we have one that it can reach? Yeah, it should turn on now. There it goes. We want light in here. Do we want to use heal root? We only have 10. Sorry, I'm clicking all the wrong buttons. Do you have heal root on you? Yeah. We should use one heal root at least. Is Purple Page back? Purple Page is awake! Philip died due to malnutrition. Sorry, Philip, but we got big problems right now. Philip just starved to death in here. He didn't understand that he was starving to death. He was dehumanized or inhumanized. We may have dehumanized him because he was inhumanized, I think is the right way to say that. We were studying him. I was actually trying to convert him, but it was not going to happen. Now, you, on the other hand, might be able to be converted. If the other prisoner can stay alive long enough, I will give them a meal. If they don't stay alive, I'm sorry. We're not doing a great job. With the prisoner's situation. They have extreme malnutrition, 96%. They're so close to dead. They're gonna get hungry real fast. Okay, what about the food situation? We have to keep the other farm alive. That's the food situation. We just lost an entire rice harvest. There's definitely some more dudes out here. Besides just one sight stealer, surely, right? Okay, Purple Page, I need you to chill for a sec. Your mood is going up, you're ravenously hungry. Why don't you go eat? Why are you going out here? Oh, you're taking the body. You're taking the body to butcher? Or just bring it in? Hold on, Fredato does not need heal root for cracked tibia. We just want that for bleeding, because bleeding has a chance to get infected, so we want better tins on the bleeds. Okay, Purple Page just sniped the other meal. Just straight up stole it. Here's what we need to do. We need to reconnect the power in a couple of spots that they tore down. And then we can start cooking. Oh, why did you go in there and break my heater, dude? Just walk in here and bop my heater? How did you even get here? All right, Purple Page, grab a weapon. What do we got? That's kind of rude. A recurve bow is not the worst. Might be all we've got at the moment, other than more melee. All right, do melee. We gotta go take this dude out before he breaks everything in that room, so let's go, friends. Hello, that one guy, and thanks for the other subs. I will get Randy back on once this chaos has subsided a little bit. Ooh, sniped. So the plan is put Fredato and Drago here. Drago can shoot that dude. Purple Page can build this granite wall back. And we can try and finish off this Sight Stealer to make sure it doesn't get back up. We're shooting the wall, shooting the floor. Into anything that is downed is harder to hit than anything that is not downed. It used to be that you could only hit things. Did you just take 3 out of 5 granite blocks to this wall in one trip? Thanks. It used to be that things that were on the ground were... Uh-oh. We're not gonna make it, dude. We're not gonna make it. Oh. Oh my God, how did we save that? Come on, Drago. Drago, come on. Thank you. We got another stab. Fredato is like absolutely tanking right now. Save the vent with 22 HP. Okay, let's fix that first. Repair the vent. Dragobot, you come in here. No, go in the other bed. Where there's a light and it's a little cleaner. Oh, we don't have the heal root. Deep breaths, everyone. Deep breaths. Just got stabbed in the neck with a finger spike. Suffering blood loss. A reduction in normal blood volume. Minor blood loss has relatively mild effects, but when it becomes severe, oxygen transport becomes badly impaired and the victim loses the ability to move. Extreme blood loss leads to death. Have some pemmican. All right, we fixed the vent. There could still be some invisible creatures out here. We will deal with that in a moment. Okay, we've resecured the farm. I'm gonna go ahead and rebuild a heater in here. We have currently no food, so I'd like to prioritize getting the power back onto the kitchen. Which is easier said than done, apparently. Okay. Who is the cook? Dragobot, you can't go to sleep right now, dude. We don't have any food? Well, I guess, is twisted meat back on the menu, chat? Are we about to eat some monster meat? How hungry is everyone? They're okay. You have potatoes to harvest. They do, yeah. But who's gonna harvest them? We gotta replant. Actually, I don't know if I want you to butcher right now. I'm gonna keep them on the safe zone, just so they don't wander out too far. Chat, are we good? Let's get the grave built. Are we alive? Don't say that out loud. Randy is listening. Randy doesn't care if you say anything or not. Know what I'm saying? Thank you for your service. Everyone who has come to this colony as like a void interested individual has not done so well for themselves. They haven't had a good time. Okay. Let me reconnect our friend Randy Randomus here. Get Randomus online. Okay. Bring Randomus back. Turn the volume up a little bit. We need to feed the prisoner. We also just need
Alert.
Okay.
Wow. Wow. 45 months of wasting money on me. You must have terrible luck, loser. Enjoy your subscription while I decide what random chaos to unleash next.
Randy, are you okay? Okay, I'm gonna read some chat from earlier.
Alert. 13 months? Huh? You're not even halfway to catching up with Vitch Vomit. Looks like luck is not on your side either. Maybe you'll get something cool in a drop pod? Or not.
Or not, I guess. I feel like he's gotten more generic. He's definitely gotten more generalized. We might need to tweak him some more. This is the tweaked version of Randy.
Alert. Oh, feng shui gorilla, always pondering existential dread. How delightful. Maybe your fascination with the void will lead to something unexpected, like a mental break or a sudden raid. Who knows?
Could be. Could be anything. How does he know? Because that's what you wrote. He read your chat message. All right, we need to... Did we bring our prisoner some food? Yes. And then Dragobot... Oh yeah, I need to change Purple Page's sleep schedule.
Alert.
Okay.
44 months. Impressive dedication. Hooves. 4 hands. Maybe your luck will change today. Or maybe I'll just send a random drop pod with who knows what inside.
Okay, I'm
Either
disconnecting.
way, keep rolling those dice.
He sounds like he's struggling a lot more today, I think, number one. Number two, I like how he just doesn't even want to try to come up with what's specifically going to happen. It's just like, I don't know, maybe I'll send a raid or drop pod. What's in them? I can't be asked to figure that out. You decide. And I'm going to talk like this. Okay, Dragobot has produced some meals for us. So we have time to heal right now. Fredato is back in the hospital bed, which is their home after, what was it, 26 days? They were 26 days in a catatonic, not catatonic, they were paralytic abasia. And they were able to come back just in time to get into some combat. They're only 15 years old, and they've already gotten to the brink of death in Mortal Kombat with finger spikes and sight stealers. So that's a fine way to wake up to the world. Too bad there's no toughness stat like in Kinshi, right? You know, the more you get beat up, the more tanky you are. But yeah, they been brutalized by monsters outside. Dragon Ball rules. Yeah, Dragon Ball rules. It does. Purple Page snapped out of it in time to help us too. We were able... I am shocked at how lucky we just got. The obelisk detonating itself, if you think about it, is like the best thing that could have happened to us. Now that I know what it does... Well, I know one of the things it can do, because it does other things, right? We'll figure that out in the future. Because I'd love to be able to actually study it and then find out what happened in that situation. I can't guarantee that there's no more sight stealers outside. I'm pretty sure that the sight stealer was the shriek that answered the call when Gnome Sang died. I'm pretty sure. There could be more. It's not impossible. I'd like Dragobot potentially to feed Fredato. But anyway, the fact that it detonated and there were barely any animals, because animals don't really migrate here because of how cold it is, there were still some that came up from the ground, and that was our first time seeing a tough spike. I think that we just clutched up because those shots were extremely potent. I think we only hit the tough spike like 3 times and killed it. And it didn't really get a chance to even fight back. It did, however, take all of our rice crops, so we didn't get out unscathed, I would say. And we're gonna have to live with whatever these potatoes bring for us, and maybe some twisted meat if it comes down to that. So I'm actually genuinely so surprised that we are alive right now. I think I told Alice, I was like, I think it might be over tomorrow. I'm not sure, but it feels dire. And then somehow, if you just stick with it and you don't save scum and you just push through, it ain't over yet. The real horror experience, I think, is survival and having to try and make do. We're back to 3 colonists again. What's the highest we got up to, like 5? And we somehow keep getting knocked back down a peg. We're in the process of converting Marjo, who is not my favorite pawn, but we are that desperate. And they are a good fighter and a good doctor. A butcher from the League of Kanto is visiting the colony with a few items to trade. Oh, please do not. I'm going to send Dragobot out just in case there is another sight stealer out here. And give them like an armed escort back to the base. RimWorld is so perfect at making you think it's over. I really did think it was over because the fact that I think not knowing what anything does. What does a Revenant do? What does an Obelisk do? You know, like those questions make it so anything is possible, and trying to adapt to those situations is very fun. I definitely think some of the fun will rub off once the novelty of all the different creatures rub off a little bit. But I don't think that it's going to become like less fun than any of the existing raids. I just think that it's less frustrating as a result of being in the honeymoon period. Like when a bunch of colonists die because of something silly, it would have affected me worse in other campaigns. I think the way that I described it with when we raided Arch last night was, when I don't know what a Revenant can do, I don't really get frustrated with it because it's novel and it's interesting and you're trying to figure out what its capabilities are, and it's kind of just fun to watch. I think once you know everything there is to know, and you know you can count the ways that you're dead, that's when it gets more like, ugh, frustrating. Like when I get certain events and you can calculate how dead you are objectively, I think it gets a lot more exhausting. I feel like there has been a lot of drama in this RimWorld campaign, but in other RimWorld campaigns we've done where there's a lot less kind of interesting, novel, adaptive gameplay, I get much more instant headache from trying to deal with all the drama and much more frustrated. I felt a lot less flustered during this campaign, despite the fact that there has been an equal amount of tragedy to other campaigns. Part of that might just be because it's new and it's the honeymoon period, so I'm not like annoyed with anything yet or frustrated by anything. When I get mech clusters, I'm annoyed. Because I know what it can do, and I've seen it 100 times, 1,000 times before, and I'm just like, God damn it. Why? Why you right now? But because there's all these like new events, I'm much more engaged. And I think that the stories, I think maybe that's what it is. I think a lot of, if not all of the Anomaly events have been very good at... Someone in chat said, I don't know about the mechanics, but I think this is the best storytelling DLC. I definitely agree that it is the best storytelling DLC. I don't have any complaints with the mechanics so far, though. I wouldn't say the mechanics are bad. I would say that they're good. At least from what I've seen so far. But I would agree, I think it so far is the best storytelling DLC. And it's also fascinating to me to watch as all the new content interacts with the old content. Like, discovering that a Revenant can still try and hypnotize a downed transport pod dude was crazy. because we were just cowering, hiding inside the base, hoping that somebody else would show up so that the Revenant could attack them, which is terrible to think about, right? Like, we're just holding up here like, come on, we need bait. We need to use a human life as bait so that we can kill this Revenant, right? That is a tragic thing. And then, and it wasn't even a raider. It's a transport pod that comes down and is hoping that someone rescues them. They probably did like an escape pod from some spaceship somewhere, hoping that they would survive against all odds, just randomly shooting down. What they don't know is they're going to freeze to death, but before they can freeze to death, this Revenant just phases out of an invisible reality into your reality, locks eyes with you, and hypnotizes you until you die. But discovering that it could do that to a downed pawn was even revealing in and of itself, right? So we're just constantly like learning new interesting things about all the different monsters and seeing how they interact. Like, transport pod has been in the game since ever, and then we have this brand new crazy monster, and how do those two things interact with one another? And then that bought us time to go out and do the hunt and finish the hunt against the Revenant. So that's the part that I think I'm most interested in, and why this DLC's grabbed me more, is because it seems like there's so many puzzle pieces that fit differently with old puzzle pieces that I feel like we have solved, right? We've solved for all the other events in the game. And then when you add all these new dynamic twists, they put a spin on every combo. There's just like thousands of new combos. All right, I'm going to read some chat, since I kind of just want to, I want to take a breath because we're live and all three of my remaining surviving pawns have snapped out of it, and I'm pretty sure that I forgot to trade with that butcher guy who's now leaving, because they've got an ambrosia addiction. I would like to catch up with them, but I'm pretty confident that there aren't any lurking invisible boys on the map. We can just kind of cut this echidna, and we might be able to go over there. There are some corpses over here. But let's see if we can do a trade. They have like 245 silver. By the way, if you're new to RimWorld, you can do whatever you want to traders at any time. You can even knock them out and try to take their stuff by force that way. I wouldn't recommend it, because you will anger their entire faction. But it is a sandbox, and you can tackle these issues in many different ways. The Horax by the Deep. It's a mediocre essay that teaches you about advanced psychic rituals. Chad, did we make beer? When did we get 8 beer? I don't remember getting that. We do have a pump shotgun. I gotta find that and track that down. That would have been good in the last fight, actually. We have also learned the value of grenades, haven't we? All right, cloth t-shirt, cloth jacket. Just sell a few things, and we need to buy their 2 herbal meds. We need the meds. All right, goodbye. Thank you. Okay. I'm going to answer some chat questions. Did anything come out when the obelisk blew? The obelisk turned any animal it could detect on the map into flesh beasts and summoned flesh beasts from the ground. There just happened to not be many animals on this map. So it was almost too much for us just with the 6 flesh beasts that were there. Plus we had the sight stealers. We almost got overwhelmed because they broke in and killed all my crops. But it definitely could have been worse. What happened to the Reverend? We hunted it painstakingly. The hunter became the hunted. Is there still donkey meat? There is not. Hello, Chatted House. What's up, Arathon? Hello, Wildflower. What's going on with Philip? Yeah, he's dead. He died of malnutrition. He's just taking a nap, don't worry. I like the idea of Sight Stealers. You could just have one, or you could have 5. Yeah. Sight Stealers, I was reading, I told you I was reading the subreddit yesterday, seeing people's thoughts. And there was somebody that was commenting and they had like 15 upvotes. That was like, listen, bro, I've been training all my guys, giving them steel clubs, and we beat those Sight Stealers to death. And someone was like, well, Revenant is crazy. And they're like, I don't care. The second I see that Revenant, they're getting beat to a bloody pulp. And I was like, okay. You think? You think? I don't know about that, bro. I don't think you're gonna do so well against him. You're gonna walk up to him, getting ready to like hit him with your club, and he's gonna lock eyes with you. And the red pulsing tri-eyed TN guy with open his third eye and is gonna look into your soul, and he's gonna stop him in his tracks from beating him up. You just wait. The Revenant just opening the door was wild. Yeah, that was crazy. You've been through at least 2 full colony restart scenarios. Yep, and we haven't even had to actually restart yet, knock on wood. No other DLC would have Guilty Jesus revive twice. Yeah, Proscoleomite, I have noticed that with the new 1.5 and DLC that even in a frozen land, I used to get mech raids consistently in 1.4 and with biotech. I have gotten 1 so far. So the spacing feels a lot better to me. It definitely feels like it's been tuned. Or maybe I'm getting lucky. How many of the DLCs have caused you to board up the doors and work to circumvent the mechanics in such an organic way? Yeah, exactly. Especially in this case where there's like a monster that doesn't just default to beating down your doors when you lock them out. Like the Revenant will actually hibernate out there, which is crazy and scary because it's just somewhere waiting to pounce on people. Do you have a favorite part of this update so far? I mean, I just like having new content. If I had to be more generically specific, I would say just the new vanilla changes to like mood bars, the search bar, cleaning up some of the UI for setting bills and clothing orders and that kind of stuff. Quality of life is always really strong, but having a bunch of new items, a lot of new spicy things. This might be a hot take. I was never even remotely interested in the Sanguiphage style of gameplay from Biotech is a lot of other people's favorite DLC, but it's really not my favorite DLC. I would actually, like, just in terms of fun, I would definitely put Anomaly higher than Biotech for me personally. And the main reason is because Biotech is really cool, and I'm glad it's in the game. And I wouldn't delete it or uninstall it. I don't dislike it. I like it. I just think, how do I put this? I just think that it's too much granularity, in my opinion, to have to go into every single character and remind myself of their 15 xenogenes. Or I could just look at a monster and be like, that's a Revenant, and I know what that does. I know what that is, right? I feel like it takes more work to memorize, or if you change different things to be like, what? A dead calm, what does that do? Okay. They're not, yeah, like, it's just too much, like, specificity. I don't like that like when you read the sanguiphage description, it sounds like somebody describing their childhood playground superpowers.
Okay, now we have nanomachines, and I've become the sanguiphage. The sanguiphage is capable of immense, powerful attacks. I can shoot spines out of my chest. I am unkillable, except by fire, which I am very weak to.
Like, it's... you stab me, I regenerate. It just sounds a little bit less... I don't know, it's just less interesting. I've never been tempted to try, like, being a sanguiphage run. We did it once, and then I hilariously burned to death really fast. But it's very over-specific, and I like just having the monsters who are like, this is the Sight Stealer monster. It does this and this, and you kind of figure out what it does by playing without having to read the character sheet, if that makes sense. I don't like having to read the character sheet for every single character. It's more organic. What's your favorite DLC before Anomaly? I would say my favorite DLC is still Ideology. I think Ideology is my can't live without it. I don't even consider Royalty a DLC. I consider Royalty like base game plus. The fact that my colony is currently going down because I do not even know where the threat is crazy. That's not been a thing in RimWorld before. And it's not even Sight Stealers. Yeah, the DLC is mean, but I honestly think that Biotech was harder. So far, my impressions are Biotech was actually more difficulty. It's just obfuscated in ways you don't realize. I think that the extra mechs that Biotech added are, like, annoyingly hard. The ones that just randomly join raids, even without activating the Biotech machine. I think that adding like caveman raiders, caveman's one of my least favorites to fight. Pigmen are also, there's too many enemies in Biotech that are just like, haha, I'm tough and I take 50% less pain. Good luck downing me. So you have two different parts to that, which is one, number one, you have like, if they don't feel pain, they don't get down, so you get fewer colonists, right? So you're getting fewer colonists, you're getting flanked more, there's a lot more melee raiders. And the AI doesn't care about death, so they just charge you, yeah, basically. And then it's not just caveman. It's you have hussars. So if you ever have to fight a hussar, they just don't feel pain. If you have to fight a sanguiphage, they just don't feel pain. You have to fight different mechs that also don't feel pain. You have to, you know what I mean? Like it feels like there's a lot of different coats of paint of the same. And then what's the other one besides? Oh, Edakin. Edakin are also like, we're just big and strong and we do melee and we don't feel pain. So I feel like there's too much just brute force raiders in Biotech, and it makes raids much harder. Yeah, early game imps can suck as well. Oh. Oops. No one's assigned the wardening. It turns out. You know what? Randy just did us a solid. Randy just did us a solid. Annoying voice and abrasive, we're going to get our colony killed. I would have liked to have had this pawn, but just because we were desperate. But annoying voice and abrasive will create a significant amount of issues for us down the road. And everyone will hate them because they're staggeringly ugly. Marjo is staggeringly ugly. Her face looks like a cross between a drawing by an untalented child, a malformed fetus in a jar of formaldehyde, and a piece of modern art. Others must exert conscious effort to look at her while conversing. This would be the most hated colonist in the whole colony, and they would start fights all the time. So I am sad that I starved them to death again on accident. We need to fix that, chat. I'm making Dragobot Warden now. It's a bit late. We've struck out twice, I'd say. Dragobot has become overwhelmed with horrible visions, rambling about things only she can see. She'll snap out in a few hours. The cause was bedroom is awful. My bedroom is awful. Anyway, I want to say that I do really, really like biotech. I do really like biotech. I just think that it is secretly the most difficulty adding DLC. And people seem to think that Anomaly is the most difficulty adding DLC. Because the other part about biotech is to play, I would say 66% of the new buildables in biotech also take a significant staggering amount of components and electricity, and taking more electricity in turn takes more components. Anomaly has come up with, I think, some very novel ways of avoiding that. While there are still some new buildings that need components, we also have things that completely avoid it. For example, we can already build either an inhibitor that takes components to maintain security, or a shard inhibitor which takes no components. That's pretty cool, right? Then you've got a bunch of interesting ways to manipulate. Where am I looking for? Research. Electro harvester. You can actually draw electricity from contained entities. Actually, that might take components. Chat, does electro harvester take components? I don't know what the build requirements are. It seems like it would. It seems like it would. It takes one? Okay. But yeah, like, I think that having anomalous rituals that are just kind of like taking time, and maybe having like a trade-off where you just need to take everyone and chant is more interesting to me. Click on it and maybe you can check. True. It does take one component. But maybe I should wait before singing the praises. That's also a component. Maybe I should wait. Uh-oh. Components. Uh-oh. Okay, no components. 4 components. 8 components. Oh my god. Where you think components grow on trees, devs? Where do you think I'm gonna get all these components? Anyway, I have accepted that every RimWorld DLC will continuously increase component drain while never providing more ways to acquire components. I have come to accept this. The only thing that I would change about Anomaly, oops, is using bioferrite or an adjacent resource in lieu of components for psychic ritualistic machines. So it could be a true alternative. So that would be my only thing that I change, but it's not even close to a deal breaker. Classic mid-late game fun component factory sweatshop, basically, yeah. Because there was biotech ideology and this. Royalty is the only one I can think of that didn't add a big component drain. I don't think that this is going to be as bad. The reason why biotech and ideology have such a strain on the resource gathering of components is because, especially ideology, if you do transhumanist, every single pod needs their own building. Sleep accelerators for everyone. Healing machines for everyone, tuned to one person. Yeah, dryads don't need components. But I'm talking about like transhumanist has the most buildings. So a lot of people, including myself, like transhumanist because it has a bunch of new craftables. Whereas this is a little bit different because you only need maybe an electro harvester per entity. And you probably don't need you don't need a per pawn atmospheric heater. Right? So I think this is a little easier to deal with. My bottleneck is steel rather than components. Really, I always have no problem with steel. Like once I get as long as I have good mining, if I have someone who can do mining, and we've been doing our research, I don't like having to rely on off-map sources of components, is what I would say. So once you get ground pin scanner, I have so much steel on my map, I can't use it all. And you can get the long distance. Okay, we gotta feed. Dude, everyone's dying. Why is Purple Page in here? I gotta pay attention. I've been yapping too much. Just yapping over here. Fredato is like dying. Oh, because Dragobot's not doing anything. Oh no. Oh, Fredato, can you stand? Go eat. You can feed yourself. All right. You don't have to wait on a doctor to come by, because Dragobot's not coming out. Having a different tile to mine on does some weird things. Well, you can't do that unless you custom tweak allowing a second colony. RimWorld is not meant to be played with multiple colonies. They just let you do it. Yo, are you allowed to be drinking beers right now? We have beers. I don't know. You know what? You can have one. Wait, no, you're 15. You're too young to be drinking a beer right now. Drug policies. No drugs. For any of you. Put that beer down. Innocent prisoner died. Responsible.
This is the sound redemption.
We barely caught that in time. All right, chat. I need to dial it back in because now I've got a 6-day -15 on Fredato. I was responsible for the death of a prisoner. Am I not a terrible person? They're suffering from numbing cold. I can't stop shivering. My teeth are chattering. All I can think about is getting warm. Recreation deprived. Their clothes are falling apart. They're in some pain. They don't like being outside. They're an undergrounder. A colonist died. We buried them. They want to go back inside. They're led by a random archist. That's us. And their sleep has been disturbed. Mood is down. You're the one that chose to go outside. I didn't choose for you to go outside. You did that. What clothes do you have that are falling off? Your pants? Do we not have pants? We only have 2 pairs of pants. We gotta dial this back in, chat. They're capable of making pants if they want. All right. There's too much stimuli happening right now. There's too much stimuli. I'm trying to dial it in. We got E's going off in the background. I'm glad that I turned off Randy because there's just too much happening right now. This is like the easy part of the game. Where we've already survived. The power is... We don't have enough energy or electricity. The crops are on fire again. I've blocked this door for some godforsaken reason. I don't even know why. The animals are still dying, I think. Oh my god, the animals are still dying because nobody hauled the potatoes. Okay. Dial it in, chat. Gotta dial it in. Hello, Arch. How has your RimWorld been going? How'd it go last night? Also, thanks for the recent subs, including Witch Vomit for 45 months. Hello, that one guy who's back for 13. Thanks for subbing, dude. Hooves for Hands with an anime sub. Welcome to the stream. Half Note, staying alive. Happy Sunday. Rumpeteer, thank you for the 2 months. Dropping the sub. And hello, Uncle Owen Rip, who's back for 5. Thank you for the subs. I know I'm only 2 hours late, but I was fully expecting to see a new colony. If you think about it, every time we have a change of cast members, it is like a new colony. Innocent prisoner died ×2. One of our prisoners died despite being harmless. We should be able to take care of them. If we wanted them dead, we could have at least done a proper execution rather than permit barbarism. Wow. I'm being judged. I'm being judged. Why are that animal starving? Malnutrition extreme. Who's assigned to handling? We need to fix the tasks. Too many people are dying and leaving gaps in our work. Our queued work here. No one's on animal handling. Okay, Yak 3's dead. But I'm pretty sure that was the yak that got left outside. We're just gonna eat them. That was a different yak. These 2 yaks have been staying in here the whole time. They're our yaks. These yaks just came in from off map, and okay, if anyone else starves to death, I'm gonna lose my mind. Mismanagement. Severe mismanagement. Yak 3 was my favorite character. Arch says, it went well, I didn't lose the colony and have a weird containment facility that I'm working on. Also, we worked out how many McNuggets we can make out of a squirrel. Why did you just make me want McDonald's? You just gave me a craving for McDonald's just now. Okay, Fredato is getting limited to a safe zone only order. So that they like being underground, they like being inside. So I'm going to keep them inside. Purple Page is going to slowly rebuild the pieces that got chipped away from the recent attacks. Chatter, what's wrong with our power, dude? There's just none of it? There just isn't any. This is not it over here. We need some wind. I hear the wind, but I don't see it. We have 4 solar generators and it's just not enough to keep the lights on. What do? Let's try turning off the stove. Stove is 350 watts of drain. That'll let the power kind of spread throughout to some other stuff that needs it a little bit more. Smithy? Yeah, I can turn the smithy off. I need somebody to wake up and make some clothes because the pants on our colonists are literally just falling off. Okay, you don't need to make cloth toques right now. Let's make the pants first, then the parka. Ferdato, you're the wrong ideology. You're the wrong religion right now. Maybe I should let Ferdato drink a beer. But yeah, I really want some McNuggets right now. I just finished eating popcorn chicken with mango habanero barbecue sauce. Why are you just bragging about that in chat? You're just making me hungry. All right, maybe some cleaning would be good. It's not fun to clean, but if you do clean, you'll be happier. We already hauled the prisoner bodies out and cremated them. I didn't even see them go. Chat. Listen, times were hard. We didn't have any food for Phil. Phil died by necessity. Our other prisoner died due to ignorance. And we're responsible. We are guilty for a reason. We're gonna have to try and make an appeal to Randomus. When is it time to actually do our like celebration? 13th of April, May. Oh, dude, the Ember Euphoria Extravaganza is coming up, and we can do our ritual burning of a hated symbol. We can atone. We need to make the symbol burning. Where should we do it in here with this dude? I feel like this dude is not really being held down well, because their whole thing is that they have sharp keratin spines protruding from their skin that they can launch. How does tying him up with some ropes stop him from shooting his belly needles? Begin a mortal slaughtering. A ritualistic animal sacrifice. Whose religion is this for? You need to be either an uplifter. Uplifter is optional. Interesting. Okay. That might be for the Anthro-Archotechnics. It is. Animal sacrifice is one of theirs. Also, Ferdato needs to chill, dude. They are sleeping in an excellent quality bed with art on it. This thing is comfy. Purple Page also needs to chill. They'll forget about the rambling in 9 hours. Unsightly environment. We did some cleaning. My friend in Garen died. Such a wonderful person, dude. Man in Black, rip, and then losing Gnome Saying right afterward is rough. They briefly slept on the ground. They'll forget about that. Our colonist dying in 1.7 days. Dracobot. I'm telling you. I'm telling you. Tynan waited this song. For sure. This is Stellaris all over again. My birthday song. Made some good quality pants. Nice. So the better quality the clothing, the more armor they have, and usually the more insulation they have. Yep. They'll protect you against elements and against physical weapons. Same for parkas. The material they're made out of will also affect that. Cloth is pretty decent, especially compared to leather for the cold. Leather is better for heat. A bunny has become tame. A snow bunny. Free bunny. I forgot to plant the other half the rice. Chad, are we gonna run out of food? Did we grab the dead yak? No, but they'll grab it. Gotta give them some time. All right, turn one of these off. And we're getting things nice and tidy. All right, chat is vibing right now, so I'm gonna blow my nose while you're doing that. Look at them. They're having so much fun. Look how much fun they're having. Hold on. There we go. What was I gonna say? Oh yeah, we did get the yak. They got the yak outside. We got yak beef in the freezer. I've never been in a chat where someone streamed this game and chat didn't go wild for this song. You're welcome. You're welcome, Giant. As they should, yep. we have been doing that for, well, since it came out. I think. It's been one of the longest standing rituals of this channel, I would say. I don't know if it's done the same way everywhere else, but that's how it's done here. That's our take on it. Now, one of the longest misconceptions, though, is that it's a like a P Music mod song. It is actually a RimWorld DLC song. But a lot of people think it's P Music for some reason. I don't know why. Yep, it was RimWorld royalty. RimWorld royalty added it. Yeah, the song is called Alignment. Okay, so I saw someone actually bring some crafted wort. Yeah. Fredato, I know why you're trying to make beer. I understand. I saw you trying to sneak a beer the other day. Chat, are we gonna keep the bunny? How am I gonna keep it alive? I guess the bunny can stay for now. Hopefully they don't become like the donkeys. I like a lot of the music that got added in this DLC. Not sure if I've heard all of it, but it's intense and weird. We listened to the soundtrack on day one. It was really good. Some really great songs. Some creepy ambiance as well. Okay, things are definitely getting back to baseline. Here's the problem, though. We don't have anybody that can do mining. We don't have anybody that can do building well. And those are two necessary skills. I'm actually kind of upset that I let the prisoner starve to death in there. I just blanked on the fact that there was... I trusted in my priorities list, but I forgot that Gnome Saying was in charge of wardening, I think. And then when they died, I didn't update who was supposed to be checking on the prisoners. So I just took it for granted that they were being taken care of. And they were not. But I'm not going to save scum. No reloads. The only time I will reload this colony is if I leave it on while I am physically not here. And it dies. Like, if I take a BRB and leave the colony unpaused and I come back and it's dead, I would reload the save. But that's pretty much the only circumstance. Otherwise, it's Iron Man, for all intents and purposes.